door frame, like it's a place you've never been.
Hi, I'm Tim Gill from the Courtyard Studios. I'm sitting here with Edie Bens. Edie, hi.
Hiya, nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
A pleasure. Thanks for the set you played. Really soulful and a lot of emotion coming out in the songs. Are you coming from a place where that's the most important part for you, with the emotions? You've got a mix of different influences, so where does that come from?
Yeah, I think my influences are very singer-songwriter, very like 70s, 80s, and I think lyrics are sort of high priority to me when writing songs, and conveying some kind of story and emotion is like a big part of what I do. And yeah, I hope that comes across.
I mean, that's quite clear and obvious. You know, you reminded me a bit of Emmylou Harris from the 70s, great singer-songwriter, and that sort of meaningful tone to the voice. You've been called by some the Welsh Dolly Parton. Is that something you're proud of?
That is very kind. I mean, I'm the biggest Dolly fan ever. I think she's amazing, and I think obviously she's massive, but I think her like actual talent and writing and her sort of perseverance isn't always conveyed alongside the glamour so much.
Which is fair, but how do you go from growing up on a isolated farm in Wales to being a massive Dolly Parton fan?
I don't know. My dad went on holiday once to New York, and he found a Garth Brooks CD in a store, a record shop, and brought it back and played it in the car. And I sort of fell in love with country music that way. And then he'd let me go to HMV in Swansea and buy different records, and Dolly was one of them.
You were hooked from that point on.
Yeah.
You cite influences such as Bruce Springsteen as well, a little bit more kind of rocky. And what other artists have played a big role in your development?
I mean, growing up, I didn't necessarily have like in quotations the coolest music taste, or at least not in comparison to my peers. And I think when I got to about 14, 15 and probably wanted to start dating boys, I was like, right, I've got to get cooler music. So I started listening to loads of indie bands, Peace, Catfish and the Bottlemen, bands like that, and started going to festivals, and those influences started coming through also, I think, eventually. And yeah, it's a combination of like new indie music and old singer-songwriters and country music, I think.
And you've now had the opportunity to develop as an artist. Have you had the opportunity to play at any of those festivals that you attended?
Yeah, I played at a few. I got to play at South by Southwest a few years ago, which was really cool. I think it was 2 years ago. I'm always forgetful at where I played, but I played at the Welsh Eisteddfod like 3 weeks ago, supporting Katie Tunstall, who's like one of my heroes.
Great.
So yeah, I think so. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
Is the sort of trajectory of where you're wanting to go in your career, are you feeling like that's something that's attainable at the moment? Are you on the right path?
I mean, I hope so. It's my dream to play Glastonbury and my dream to play Red Rocks. So hopefully that'll happen in the next
You stole my next question. I was going to ask you. A lot of people want to play in certain places. I interviewed an Irish musician once. She really wanted to do Slane Castle. That was her big thing.
Okay, yeah.
And you know, there's a lot of different artists looking to do Glastonbury, for example. You've got a number of recordings that you've done already, some singles that have been out. You've got a new EP coming out. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I have a new EP coming out, I think, in a week, but it will be out by now. And it's called Songs for Myfanwy. It's a collection of songs mostly about heartbreak and falling for people I know are going to do a runner, because I'm a commitment phobe. And the title references that because one of the songs references this story of a lady called Myfanwy, who was this Welsh noble lady who no one was ever good enough for, basically.
So it's sort of like a traditional folklore story.
Yes, yeah. It was a traditional folklore story that then got turned into a song, and that's sung by all the Welsh male voice choirs, and that's where I sort of stole the idea from, I guess.
So that's the second week, February 2025, because people might watch this interview in the future. So just to give them that reference point. Yeah. Where will they be able to find that?
It's all the streaming platforms, and hopefully I will have some kind of physical form of it also soon.
Do you feel like an EP is where you're at the moment? Because I know you've done singles before. Will you release them separately as well?
I mean, I've just put out a few. I think I've just put out 3 singles There's another one coming with the EP. The EP is 8 tracks,
Right.
which is quite
Almost
quite
an
a
album,
big,
basically, yeah.
quite a big EP.
You could call it an EEP.
Yeah. I don't know what the streaming the streaming gods will say whether or not it's a bit too long to be an EP, but it's an EP to me. And the plan is to start making a debut album after this, hopefully. Yeah.
If you had sort of like one choice of where you could record that, where would you want to do it?
That's such a hard question. I think now with today's technology, you can kind of move a studio, and I would love to record an album in a sort of somewhere in the countryside in Wales where everyone feels really comfy and cozy, and we get the best equipment we can and record it like that rather than spending loads of money in a box in London.
I mean, you played for us the session now with the guitarist. What would you put for the? Would you use lots of instruments? Or?
Yeah. So on the last track on the EP that we recorded, we had strings, and we hadn't had any strings before. And I think going forward, I'd love to have drums, guitar, bass, strings, and more like a fiddle, kind of Irish strings, more trad strings than like orchestral
folky kind of vibe
strings. But I've also have like a deep love for synths, so they'll always somehow sneak their way in.
For gigs, when you perform live, what's the normal setup that you would have? What's the fullest
full
of the
setup.
setups?
Yeah. I mean, we're quite a traditional like 4-piece rhythm guitar, me singing. I've got a lead guitarist who also sings, and drums and bass. Yeah, and we've played like that for a while.
I mean, you guys sounded great together. You sounded like, perfectly natural. How long have you been working together, you and the guitarist?
Yeah, that's so kind. Mick is one of my best friends. We met very long time ago. I think we've known each other now for 7 years, and been pretty good friends ever since. So yeah, I'm really grateful that I get to play music with him.
I mean, it's when you play with someone a long time and you get that sort of familiarity, it kind of comes across in the music, I feel.
Thank you. Yeah, I like to keep him on my toes because I skip beats and bars sometimes.
Well, fair, yeah.
Because I'm used to singing, I guess, like in my bedroom, and I write a lot of songs by myself, like singing. I kind of sometimes forget that there are certain rules.
You get annoyed with them when they want to do things like stay on time and stuff like that, or go from the verse to the chorus.
Yeah, but he's got very good at knowing when I'm about to do something.
Or not do something.
Yeah, he knows somehow. I don't know, but yeah.
What's the biggest challenge for you, Edie, in terms of the music industry at the moment? Not necessarily just you, but in terms of for musicians.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's getting boring, everyone's saying this, but social media is like the new mountain to musicians. It's been around for a while, but I think it requires a level of frequency, and to be successful, often like a formula of, I don't know how to say it, but like posting a lot of things that are very similar and consistent.
Yeah.
And that can be like very monotonous, and a lot of musicians, I think, didn't, especially my age, who were maybe just started coming up before it happened, didn't get in it thinking that was going to be day to day. I
mean, do you see the social media, the ability for people to self-promote, do you see that as a plus or potentially a negative?
I mean, that's such a hard question. I think ultimately it's really...
Sorry.
It's fine. I think ultimately it's a really good thing because it's taken away some of the power from like the big boys, the big labels, and meant that more people who would have never had a chance, like from all different kinds of backgrounds, have a voice and have a platform to share their music, and there's less hurdles maybe that you have to jump over, and I think that's amazing. But I do also think that it's made it way more saturated.
It's diluted
the
market, yeah.
So maybe, I think there's going to be so many more musicians, and I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing, myself included, that will have portfolio careers where they're doing like a couple of things alongside each other to make the best music they can, aside from like the traditional way of like record deals and
I mean, we have a lot of festivals and gigs here. I remember meeting one of the guys from one of the big record companies, the head of A&R, and talking to him, and asking him about someone that we'd seen, saying, I really think you should listen to this, and them asking me, who is this person? And you tell them, and as soon as they know they're above 25 years old and that they're quite intelligent and that they've already released something, it makes them nervous because they kind of want that sense of control.
Yeah,
Do you sort of feel like you're in control of your own path in terms of your output?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, one thing I think about social media is that people crave authenticity.
Right.
And if you're not like being authentic, they sort of sniff it out.
Yeah.
And I think you do, like, I think you just end up having to be in control, whatever your situation is, whether you're label or not label. I think people crave authenticity now, especially more than ever, because of the way things are going.
It's about not just standing on above everybody else and doing something different. It's about being genuine and that being authentic and that coming across in the music.
Yeah, I think people want real people, if that makes sense.
How often do you tantalize the world of social media with output? Are you quite regular in posting, or do you just put out stuff when it's like, this is done, this is ready, here you go?
Yeah, no, I try and post regularly. I go through phases of being better at it and worse at it, but right. I try and post regularly. Feed the algorithm gods.
Yeah, get them done, satisfy the cravings of the numbers. If you were asked by an up-and-coming musician, someone perhaps literally just starting out, what would be your number one takeaway advice for them?
I think like trust your gut and don't rush into things. I think when you're a young musician starting out, I mean, that was me like literally like 3 years ago, but you feel like there's some kind of like egg timer that's been flipped and you're like, okay, I have to do this, otherwise it's not going to work out. As soon as I come out, got to sign a deal, or I've got to do this, I've got to, but actually like you're way better being as good as you can at your craft, like working with the people you really like, and if you're going to sign a deal with people you really, really believe in, etc. So there isn't necessarily a massive rush that we all think there is. It's things fall into place. How they're supposed to.
Do it authentically, do it genuinely.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, just a couple of quick fires, because I'm sure people watching are going to want to know this. Where do you want to play most, apart from Glastonbury? Because you already given me that one. In terms of a venue, what would be your ideal? Okay,
so I had two dreams of the places I want to play the most. One of them was the Cardiff Utilia Arena, that when I was a kid was called the Motor Point Arena. I luckily got to play there 2 years ago, which was so nice. It's like it's an hour from where I grew up, and basically it was the only place you could see like at the time like a band, like a real band.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to play there. Luckily I have. Apparently they're building a bigger one now. So
no, you'll have to play that. You'll have to play there, right? Yeah.
So the big arena in Cardiff is on the list, and I've always wanted to play Red Rocks. I've never been there. I've never been to that part of America. I've only been to America once, but it looks like spiritual and amazing, and I want to be there.
Favourite artists, we've got you down, Dolly Parton, Bruce Springsteen. You've talked about some of the indie bands, which you learned about. Is there one more artist that you could perhaps tell people that other people might not have heard about that has been inspirational to you, somebody maybe not so mainstream?
Let me have a think. Oh my God, I'm so bad on
the pressure.
This kind of thing. The pressure. I'll recommend Mixed Band. They're called Low Lying Sun. I think that he's an incredible songwriter, and the rest of the band are as well. And they're called Low Lying Sun.
Favourite microphone to record through?
Oh my gosh, it's
too technical a question.
It's so technical.
I'm a singer as well sometimes, and I just love using those old warm valve microphones.
I don't actually know what it's called. I've been really lucky to record a lot of the songs in a songwriter's studio who has been very kind to give us time for free in his lovely studio. And there's a microphone from there that I'm pretty sure is from the 60s, and it's really big. It's about this big. It's like the size of my face. And I would never ever be able to afford it, but it sounds amazing. And
they probably might not even be able to find
one. I don't
even
even know what it's called.
We recorded a session at Abbey Road some time ago. I was in the cafeteria on the lunch break, and I met this chap, and he said, "Oh, I'm in maintenance." I went, "What, plumbing?" And he went, "No, microphones, specifically just microphones." I said, "Oh, right." He said there were 900 microphones there, and that he'd worked there since 1958. He's such a figure there. They've made a little plastic doll of him, and all he does is microphones. Yeah. And he could talk for hours about them. I think it's an important part.
That's so important.
Of the voice.
Yeah.
Shows coming up? Anything that you could tell us about?
I have a show on I'm looking at Harry. It's the 6th of October, right? Right. I have a show on the 6th of October. It's going to be called Edie Bens and Friends. It's going to celebrate the EP I'm putting out, and I'm going to invite some friends to play and have a hootenanny, I guess.
Where is this? Where is it?
It's going to be at the George Tavern.
Okay, great.
In East London. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, we're looking forward to seeing more of you online.
Thank you so much.
Albums, EPs, and on the platforms. And, you know, we wish you the best of luck with everything that you do. We think you're brilliant.
That's so kind. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much, Edie.
No, thank you. Thanks so much.
My name's Tim Gill for the Courtyard Studios. I've been here with Edie Bens.